Alright, thank you for joining me today in what will be the final video of the Atlantis series. This is going to be my recap video. So, the team that I went to Atlanta Regionals with, we had, of course, the Galarian Weezing, we had Wo-Chien, Calyrex Shadow Rider, Ogerpon Wellspring, Urshifu Dark, so Urshifu Single Strike, and just your normal Ursaluna. So, yeah, as far as the overall idea of this team was fairly straightforward. Basically, I take Weezing plus one of ideally 4 bulky Pokemon, so either ideally 3 bulky Pokemon. The Ursaluna with Drain Punch, the Urshifu, he's built to be very bulky with Drain Punch. The Wo-Chien, which is entirely built for bulk, with Leech Seed and Pollen Puff to help keep the Weezing around, the Weezing to give out status conditions, and yeah, we take the Weezing plus one of those 3, ideally, and use that as the lead, shut off the opponent's abilities, get either Poison or Will-O-Wisp, get status conditions out on the field, really chip away at opponent's health. If the Wo-Chien was out there, use the ability Shield and the Tablets of Ruin to help further suppress their ability to hit me with physical moves, and of course, both of them have very significant special investment to help their special survivability. But overall, their goal was to get out and really remove about half of the opponent's frontline HP. That's it. I just want both of those down to about 50% HP, because then the backline can come in, and backline is generally made of a very bulky Ogerpon Wellspring, as you can see here, and a highly offensive Calyrex Shadow Rider. You can see there, we just went with a very, very simple 252, and nature into speed. The entire point of him just being come out, click Astral Barrage, blow things up, call it a day. The reason I felt comfortable with the 252 in both speed and special attack rather than going into defense or HP is because in 99% of circumstances, the game plan was that whenever Calyrex hits the field, it's going to be alongside almost certainly the Ogerpon. Just almost certainly. So because of that, I was not particularly concerned about Urshifu. A Choice Scarf Urshifu, which does outspeed max speed Calyrex Shadow by 1 point, which is enough. Potentially running over my Calyrex without it getting a chance to hit back. So that was the general idea of this team. Start with a semi-stall core, get them down to about 50% HP, maybe a little bit lower. If we take KOs, cool, we take KOs. But ultimately, it was set up the board so that Calyrex could come out and blow up whatever remained. Ideally taking a single or double KO in the first turn that he hits the field, and then just snowballing super hard from there. Now, as far as how this team actually functioned at the regional, it did work. It worked well against teams that I would say were moderately, kind of moderate tempo teams, and against lower tempo teams. And what I mean by that is teams that were meant for doing a little bit of their own setup, getting their own board state, how they wanted it to be, and then looking to win the game from there. So it did work well against those sorts of teams. Zamazenta teams, I would say, are more of that balance, that pseudo setup, that pseudo balance team, or just full-on balance team. This team did great into that, particularly because Zamazenta, as a physical restricted, it was very susceptible to Will-O-Wisp, and didn't really want to stick around with Wo-Chien sitting there just hitting you with the Leech Seed. And so by the time that, the Zamazenta managed to get through both of those, here comes Cali Shadow, who's just immune to Zamazenta's primary form of damage and Body Press. So it worked very well in that circumstance. Where it did not work well, though, was against teams that had a lot of offense right out of the gate that could actually blast through my opening pair. So for instance, I lost to a Miraidon team, a Choice Specs Miraidon, that went Terra Fairy, Dazzling Gleam, best fairy in format. The joke, of course, being that it's not a fairy until it terras. So yeah, you've got the Choice Specs Miraidon team, which I lost to. I lost to a very aggressive Cali Ice Rider team that had a lot of bulk and balance. Yeah, so like I lost to that one. That one was very well piloted. I lost to, what was the third thing that I lost to? Oh, I had a very narrow loss to a Kyogre team, and we'll get more into that in just a moment. That one was not actually a loss to kind of the offense. That was more of that one was weird, really close games. But yeah, that one gets its own little bit of analysis. And then I lost to a Choice Specs Terrapagos team with the Sylveon, because like that one just, they literally led with the Terrapagos. Terra did on turn 1 and just sat there clicking Terra Starstorm, and the fact was I can't touch that with Calyrex without a boost or two. And yeah, just couldn't get enough damage out on the board, though I got rid of the Terrapagos. I just didn't have enough tank left enough gas left in the tank once I did get through the Terrapagos. So yeah, anyway, that's what we had difficulty with this particular team. Now, as far as individual specific problems in the Pokemon, Weezing was actually pretty good, by and large. I do think that in higher power level formats, investing significantly into your defensive bulk is the primary way you're going to get it to stick around on the field, and it is very annoying if you can keep it around. Like, the Weezing did a great job. I don't think there were very, very few games where my Weezing just got blown up and I lost because of that. In fact, I would say that was never particularly the reason why I lost. Yeah, so like Weezing did a great job. Definitely will consider using that one again in the future. The Wo-Chien, I really respect just how bulky this particular thing is. Like, it is a very bulky Pokemon, particularly when you invest into its defenses, as I did here, and use it for more of that supportive vibe. The problem is that, again, in a restricted format, there are too many things running around that can actually break through your Wo-Chien. Many more than I thought there were, so that was kind of a failure on the team building. Cali Shadow, actually, I took Cali Shadow to Indianapolis Regionals last year, 2024, and I came away not really feeling super satisfied with Calyrex's performance. Took him to Atlanta here. Loved it. Did exactly what he was supposed to do very consistently. Was extremely pleased with the overall Cali Shadow run. What was it enough to carry it by its, to carry my entire tournament by himself? No, of course not. But he did phenomenally. Really no complaints there. Ogerpon Wellspring, like, I might need to tweak the EVs a little bit, but the concept is so solid. The bulk is extremely good with Ogerpon. She's, of course, a great user of Follow Me. Water Absorb will help shut down and fix so many of those matchups that otherwise you might struggle into. And yeah, like this particular moveset, the Ivy Cudgel, Follow Me, Horn Leech, and Spiky Shield, like, it worked very, very well. Really no complaints. The only thing that I was slightly annoyed by was that there was one time where if I had invested a little bit into attack, and it could even just have been swapping the nature, it would have been enough to win me one of the games in the only one of my 8 matches that went to best of 3. And if it had won me that game, and then I won the follow-up game, then I would have won 5. So yeah, it could be worth retweaking the numbers a little bit, but fundamentally, the very bulky Ogerpon Wellspring, phenomenal job. Urshifu. So, Urshifu Single Strike, my absolute favorite Pokemon. I feel like I did a rather significant disservice with how I trained him. I don't think the move choice was bad. Drain Punch was kind of an interesting choice. If I had gone close combat, probably would have gone better. If I had instead, done a more common thing and invested, like, maxed out the attack, and to do that reduced a little bit from the HP and reduced a lot from the special defense, that probably would have gone a lot better too. I don't think the Covert Cloak was amazing, and to be entirely honest, if I had gone with, the high attack and gone with a Choice Band into him and replaced Detect with, Sucker Punch or something like that, I think there probably would have been the same amount of flexibility or more that would have been afforded. In this case, but way more offensive pressure, which ultimately ended up being what the team as a whole was lacking. Also, what I have invested in his attack here is just, it's not enough. There was a KO that my opponent thought I should have, that I thought I would have. I wasn't totally sure on it, but I thought it was pretty reasonable that I get it, and I didn't get it with a poison jab into a Terra Fairy Calyrex Ice, which I don't know if it cost me the match, or I don't know if it cost me that specific game. Like, I might have lost anyway, but there was also a very reasonable chance that that did in fact cost me the game, which then lost me the set. So yeah, definitely need to reconsider my training on this particular Urshifu. Like, great Pokemon. I do genuinely really enjoy the design of both Urshifu forms, but particularly the dark one. But yeah, definitely not coming away from this tournament saying, oh yeah, train your Urshifu like this. Yeah, so further consideration required there. And then my bear, she actually did fine, all things considered. I think the bigger issue was my initial planning around what I wanted her to do. You know, what I wanted her to do and what her role on the team was. Definitely helped for dealing with the Amoonguses of the world, sure, but not really, like, well enough to justify taking the slot on the team. I have a feeling that if I had just gone with the other Ursaluna, Blood Moon Ursaluna, and slapped safety goggles on it, there's a very reasonable chance that I could have done at least a little bit better, because its niche would be more defined. That being said, that I think was much more of a team building flaw rather than necessarily a flaw in this particular Pokemon or how it's trained. Yeah, so lessons to learn for next time. But yeah, still a great Pokemon there. So as far as the specific matchups that I ran into two Zamazenta, two Cali Ice Rider, Miraidon, Kyogre, Koraidon, and Terapagos. And I beat both the Zamazentas, beat one of the Cali Ice Riders, and beat the Koraidon team. Lost to the Miraidon, lost to the Kyogre barely, and lost to the Terapagos as well as one of the Cali Ice Riders. Yeah. So, just generally speaking, the Zamazentas, not permitting them to have their defense buff, was able to pick out, like, the specific spot where their team had holes in it. Most of them had very, very minimal normal types or minimal dark types, and was able to get Cali Shadow into a position where he just swept through it. And then for both of them, I just led with what had won me the first game and cleaned up the game in 4 or 5 turns. So it was a very dominating performance over those particular teams. Similar experience with Koraidon once I figured out, oh, hey, this particular circumstance I can break their team. It resulted in me winning the final game extremely quickly, or the second game of the set very, very quickly. And the Cali Ice Rider one that I beat was not quite the same. They were built really heavily around Trick Room, and as a result of that, it did make it a more spicy matchup because they were just able to consistently get Trick Room up. But regardless, I ended up taking the win in that one too. So thoughts for the future. Definitely continuing to prepare for Milwaukee. Overall, I think my mindset for this particular team was too defensive. So I'm going to lean more heavily into an offensive mindset. Or perhaps more of a balanced one, at the very least. But yeah, definitely look forward to revisiting some of the concepts that I tried here at points in the future, perhaps lower power level points or other things similar. Regardless, thank you all for watching the Atlanta preparation videos, and I look forward to seeing you in the preparation for Milwaukee. Have a great day.